Hi, thanks for being back with us. It's exciting to do another YouTube and to keep perfecting what we're doing here. It's a work in process, so I appreciate your patience and understanding. But most of all, it's just wonderful to be able to share some of this information that just keeps downloading into my consciousness on a regular basis. So this is really good for me, and I hope it's good for you as well. Well, we are going to, and this is the second video, or excuse me, not video, but YouTube on the roadmap to joy. Now, it occurred to me that probably be a good idea if I described or did a description of joy. So this is what Spirit said to me. Joy is a vibration. It doesn't mean everything is going just the way we want it to be. It means we're resting in what is. With the absence of struggle, it's a sister of peace with a spark of possibilities. I thought that was beautiful. So as we start working with the energy, the vibration, the feeling of joy, and the steps that can take us there, we recognize that this isn't just about having everything perfect. It's still going through all the motions, all the feelings, and yet there's a state of absence of struggle that we're moving towards as humanity continues on this journey. You might ask, well, how can we be in joy when we've experienced loss? Well, we can, because even in that we see possibilities. We see the beautiful arrangement of life as birth, death, and regeneration. It's going on all the time, and the acceptance of that is our heritage as human beings on this planet. But let's take some more steps. We take some more steps down the road to joy. So one of the things that came in really clear is from last week, we talked about we need to select different choices. And so now what we're doing is doing the most important thing there is, and that is, and I'm repeating myself, I know, but that is, what do you want? Let's all look at what we want. So how does it feel to see it, to hear it, to hear the sound of it, the taste of it? And get honest with yourself. From a scale from 1 to 10, once you've decided on something that you want, which is the feeling of greater joy and peace, what takes place is that you ask yourself, from a scale from 1 to 10, how much do I want it? Now, Spirit works on two functions. It works on the function of allowing the heart to have the desire and all of that magnificent energy that comes from the heart chakra. And it aligns with higher mind to implement it. So in order to create for that to happen, we actually have to know what we want, and we have to have a sense of how much do we really want it. So my suggestion is that we begin to get honest with ourselves and see what we really do want. What's the most important thing to us? There's something that happens once you start that process. Inside the data processing brain comes the stories, the patterns, the reasons why we can't have it, whatever this vibration of joy is, or what the situation. It isn't about a person or a place or a thing. It's about a state of vibration. From that vibration, all things are possible. So as we look at that, all we start doing is we start seeing, okay, so are we going to listen to the stories? I recently had a very powerful session with an amazing young woman. And I mean young. Our young people are immersed in the vibrational frequency that's changing things on this planet. They don't have to learn it. They're being bathed in it. And predominantly what they need is for us to align with them and to just hear them and understand it. But the interesting part about her was she asked the most profound question. And that question was, how am I going to know when I'm in my heart versus my brain that's telling the stories, my brain that's designed to slow down the process because of the patterns and the conditioning. So we did a laborious, deep journey on what happens. And I want to share that with you. The first thing is that we're now starting to realize that the heart can get confused and hurt and damaged through trauma. But if we are resting in our own center, in our own heart, that's where more truth presides. We honestly cannot trust our patterns, because our patterns are related to what happened in the past. And I reminded this client that we can't paint the same picture twice, and we can't step in the same puddle twice. It's impossible. Nothing is the same, and nothing stays the same. So as we recognize the nature of joy and the ability to be able to actually experience it without struggle, it definitely plays in the heart area. I have described it at times as, the mind is very useful, especially even the data processing mind that teaches us how to make machinery and teaches us how to do mechanical things of sort. But when it gets down to we don't want it. When it gets down to the whole thing, we really don't want it to be in charge, that part of ourselves. We want spirit to be in charge. We want the heart of things to be in charge. We want to be who we really are and what this discovery of who we are. So in order to do that, what has to take place is we have to acknowledge what the heart says. And the heart is where we ask the question, what is it I really want? And then the next step is, how much do I really want it? We actually do rhetoric stories about how we want this and that and the other, and it's really not at the core of our truth. And we all do it. It's not just one person. So as we start this journey, those are the two things that needs to take place. And catch the stories. Catch the stories, because they're the ones, the stories are telling you it's trying to take charge of the house. And the stories are telling you can't have it, or that, you're making it up, or whatever is going on. And take a deep dive into your heart. How about that? Let's do heart work. Especially when we're talking about joy. So one of the things I wanted to do again, because we're on this topic of joy, is I'm going to pull us, all of us, one more card. I just did some very deep reading on the esoteric work that I've done in the past on the teachings of the mystery schools and tarot. So let's see which tarot card comes up for us tonight. Oh, interesting. The Hermit. Put that just a little closer so you can see it. And along with the Hermit, I picked up a stone in this wonderful mirage of, or conglomeration here of beautiful, beautiful stones. And what I picked was the Shaman Stone. It's quite extraordinary. It's got blues and blacks and it's just a beautiful coloring. And so we have the Hermit and the Shaman Stone. What on earth does that tell me? Well, first of all, the Hermit is gathering wisdom and knowledge. He holds the light so we can see. Down through time, there's always been hermits holding that light so it doesn't burn out. With the Hermit, sometimes we need some time alone to discover our own heart, our own feelings, what's going on for us. Even if it's just a walk in the park, sit by the lake, or take a drive somewhere out in the country. The Hermit keeps to himself and holds the light for us. So never fear. He's always there. The wise man. The shaman stone. We are at a time right now, collectively, where there's a strong, what you call Uranian energy, and I'm going to be getting more into the astrology part of joy and the astrology part of what's happening on a collective as far as the planetary systems are concerned. And the shaman stone tells us that it's like a magician's stone, that we have to use all of what's available to us to make the magic. Now, magic means working with the elements. It means working with the earth. It means working with fire, water, and air, and even ether. So whatever we have available to us within our being, to manifest it, to use it for ceremony, to use it to bring us deeper into our hearts and into our centers and into our higher self, then let's do it. Whatever it takes. Right now, the energy is air. And so our minds are being shifted. We are being shifted right now in our minds to all possibilities. To vision of the future, to freedom, sometimes even to be the rebel, but to think for ourselves. The whole shift for humanity is now moving back to the people and less into the authorities. So let's roll with that one too. I hope that this is something that is interesting and serves you. I love doing it. And thank you. Sign up, subscribe, and if you want to visit with me, that's available on the website and available on the site, the YouTube site. So, good night, and play in your heart and find the joy. Bye now.